everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everyone who's here. My name is Delaney Neubauer. I'm a business consultant at Central Data, and I am joined today by one of our fantastic partners, Phocas. And today we're going to cover a lot of the opportunities that exist regarding unlocking growth in CloudSuite using Phocas. So we're going to cover kind of how Phocas allows Infor users to deliver actionable insights across all areas of the business, where Phocas fills any reporting gaps with proactive alerts and customized information, how consolidating all of our data into one place can help us make smarter, faster, more proactive decisions, and using tools like dynamic forecasting and AI assistance, and how that can fuel, our productive, profitable growth. And with that, I will pass things off to Alexa here.
Well, hi everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome to Unlocking Growth in Cloud Suite with Focus. By way of introduction, I'm Alexa West, and over the past 3 years, I've had the privilege of working with hundreds of distribution organizations, helping them turn their business data into something that's really useful in the day-to-day. For the last 2 years, I've been focused specifically on working with Infor customers. So I've seen firsthand some of the unique challenges your peers are facing when it comes to reporting. And I'm really passionate about working for Focus and helping teams move beyond static reports into using data to drive meaningful conversations and decisions across the business. Little intro to Focus is we're a business intelligence and financial planning platform built specifically for distributors. And I think what really makes us stand out is just how easy to use it is and how approachable we make data. You don't need to be technical in order to explore the numbers, drill down, build dashboards, and really helping teams self-serve the data that they need exactly when they need it. So excited to walk through what this looks like for your Infor data and with central data and how we're helping your peers today.
Hey Alexa, real quick before we move on, this is
Mhm.
Shane with Central Data. Just wanted to add a quick note to everyone that's joining. Thanks for taking the time out. If you do have any questions, like always, drop them in the Q&A or in the chat, and Alexa will get to those near the end. And also, if there's anyone that was not able to join, do know that this will be recorded and will be shared out on Central Data TV. All right, Alexa, take it away.
Perfect. Thanks, Shane. Just wanted to cover a quick agenda for the call today, what you can expect and get out of what we're going to show you. So we're going to cover how Focus allows Infor users to deliver actionable, unified insights across a couple different areas of their business. We're also going to talk a little bit about where Focus might bridge that gap between CloudSuite and reporting when it comes to dashboards, drill down analysis, and proactive alerts. Next, we can cover a bit more about how we can consolidate your different business needs, departments, ERPs, maybe other modules that you might have in your data into one platform so you can get a holistic picture of how the business is performing in all these different areas. And then four, how we're looking forward and using things like forecasting and AI and incorporating that into our platform to move with technology and be able to support you for many, many years to come and growing the business. And this is our tagline. I love to show this slide because our tagline is focus makes people feel good about data, and that's really what we strive to do. All of us here that work at Focus are very passionate about the tools, and we love working with customers and hearing how this platform is actually impacting your business. Not only helping you save some time in the day to day, but impacting your bottom lines as well. And I love that working for a company where we are aiming to solve all of your challenges when it comes to reporting off of your data. And just for a little bit of background, I'm not sure if we have some folks that haven't heard of Focus yet on this call, but bear with me. Focus is a global organization that's been operating since 2001. We started as an analytics platform, but expanded our product offering to solve many different challenges that distributors are facing when it comes to reporting, analysis, even. And we've been working in the Infor market, I think around 2018 is really when we took off and started investing in and expanding our team to support the Infor products and the Infor customers. We found that many of them were looking for that tool that was easy, point and click reporting, something that every department can use and benefit from, whether it's sales, purchasing, finance, the executive team. And Infor captures a tremendous amount of data. But customers were often relying on sometimes spreadsheets, custom reports, and really looking for that flexibility to get visibility into the data to make quick, informed decisions. So since that time, we really built a strong presence in the Infor space. It's been a privilege to work alongside Central Data to support our customers. They really bring the ERP expertise and the relationship with their clients, and together we've been able to help more distributors get the insights they need to run their businesses more effectively. So today we're proud to support more than 160, 170 now Infor companies, and have developed integrations and solutions for a lot of the different versions like CSD, SXE, FAX, and A+. I love this slide because I think it does a great job of showing you how Phocas brings together all of your data and all of your people into one platform so everyone can do more. So we're pre-integrated with all of Infor's ERPs and have solutions that we can stand up really quickly and out of the box for our customers. But we're also data agnostic. So we have about 200 integrations that we also have built so we can consolidate external sources of data as well. I think the middle section does a good job of outlining our core products, the analytics tool, which covers things like sales, inventory, purchasing, AR and AP also come with that solution. We have financial statements, our budgeting, forecasting, rebates management, and even a CRM as well. And these tools are all a la carte, meaning our customers can kind of pick and choose what package makes sense for them and what areas they're looking to improve. And then on that far right side, we have how everyone benefits. So by having all this data in one place, your CEO and your board, they now have access to pre-built automated reports and alerts that are tailored to their needs, but they're also informed and able to drill down into the underlying data themselves and make decisions based on actual numbers. And the CFO and finance, they can spend less time consolidating or collecting and formatting and cleansing the data and more time analyzing that information and steering the business. Sales and operations, you guys can dive into the customer details, identify trends and insights, analyze your performance. Really, our goal is to be a single source of truth for the entire organization and be that resource for all these different departments as well. And from working with so many Infor customers, I've seen a couple different approaches when it comes to tackling reporting and some challenges that come along with it. So some of these paths might involve manual workarounds. Some might involve hundreds or dozens of static reports, relying on a reporting expert or a bottleneck. Maybe it's inside the business, maybe it's outside of the business. And finding that the business is spending a significant amount of time collecting data rather than actually using it to build a strategy or make quick decisions. And I find a lot of the people I speak to fall into this bucket. So you're certainly not alone, but these are some of the challenges I do see when it comes to customers reporting with their data. But here, there's only so many hours in a day, and manual reporting and data entry and spreadsheet workarounds can eat up a lot of them. And while your team's roles are critical, not every task they need to do has the same level of value. I think there's a statistic by McKinsey, about 40% of daily business reports add little to no value, or giving teams self-serve access to data and KPIs through BI can dramatically reduce those efforts there. PwC found something similar. Specifically, top performing finance teams don't actually get ahead by cutting service, but by simplifying and standardizing core processes so they can focus more time on partnering with the business. And I think that's really the key. I think many times finance ends up getting stuck in that role of report provider versus strategic partner. Um, and you know, falling into that trap of doing that manual effort versus analyzing the why behind the numbers as well. So um, when your core processes are streamlined and your data is easily accessible, finance can shift from collecting data to guiding decisions. And that's really when the real value starts to show up and is what we've seen. But for this kind of discussion, I did want to go ahead and pause it for a second and ask Delaney to provide her input on what she's seen with the challenges that she's seen with reporting and how that's impacting the business. She has an incredible experience both sitting in the shoes of working for an Infor distribution company and also helping them as a business consultant with central data. So Delaney, would you be able to chime in and share some of your perspective on how you see Infor distributors tackling some of these challenges of reporting and kind of what your experience has been as well?
Yeah, thank you. I can absolutely speak to that. So, as Alexa highlighted, I began as an end user, and when I was first brought on, upper management had only recently implemented Focus at the time. And one of my primary responsibilities from the jump was not just to learn Focus, but to understand the goals of each department within that company. So that meant asking a lot of questions, and it meant figuring out what questions each department had. And through those conversations, I began hearing more statements than questions, such as, I'd love to know XYZ, or I wish there was a way to tell, fill in the blank. And I realized this is where Focus fit in perfectly. When we think of reporting, a lot of us might envision numbers and rows and spreadsheets, and that's fine. But I think one of the primary reasons why that isn't overtly helpful is because there's no call to action. So Focus allows me, in addition to other end users, to leverage actionable information. It's one thing to have a list of customers and their sales, but it's a totally different ballgame to be able to contact specific sales reps or customers to let them know critical information about their favorite product category, for instance. So maybe a shipment from one of your vendors is going to arrive late, but instead of being forced to respond reactively, this vendor has already been on the radar of your rockstar purchasing manager. And thanks to an alert they received from Focus, they knew that this vendor hasn't delivered on time in 6 months, and they knew to place the order sooner than they would have in the past. So things like that, I found really helpful to focus on the statements, not the technical, how do I use this? Or, I don't know how to work it. Well, what do you want at the end of the day? What are things you wish you knew? Alexa mentioned a shift from collecting data to guiding decisions that I really feel should be highlighted again. To me, Focus specifically shines when it comes to allowing end users to make proactive decisions to ultimately steer the business in the best direction it can go and maintain that competitive edge in the industry, right? So Alexa, did you want to speak more on ways companies can address potential obstacles?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Um, well, here we go. So I have a couple of different slides on how we're tackling some of those distribution challenges head on. And, from unpredictable demand patterns to rising costs and shifting customer expectations, excuse me, distribution companies need reliable insights to act fast and make informed decisions. So the Focus cloud-based BI and FP&A platform is built for mid-market wholesale distribution companies, helping you guys predict and manage risks and opportunities with scalable and customizable solutions. Now, this first piece here, keeping in pace with technology, I think a lot of distributors are modernizing their systems and embracing e-commerce and trying to move away from some of those manual processes that might be bogging them down. And I think Phocas really extends the value of your Infor ERP by centralizing reporting, providing a 360-degree view across all your different systems and departments, and enabling intuitive analysis. And even in now and in the future with our growth path, delivering AI-driven insights as well. So I'll be sure to touch on that a little bit in the demonstration today of how we're helping you guys now, but also what our platform strives to tackle in the future and how we're also embracing technology to help drive the business now, but also in the future, especially with AI. The second piece here is inventory and supply chain disruptions. So maintaining an optimal inventory level is essential, but increasingly difficult because of unpredictable supply chain and demand fluctuations. Phocas can help distributors overcome inventory and supply chain challenges and help you see across sales trends, inventory trends and demands, even things like automating demand forecasting, tracking supplier performance, and optimizing stock levels as well. So it's not easy, I guess, to manage inventory for 3 warehouses, 10 warehouses, 40 warehouses. And I think the challenge is not that you lack the data, but being able to use it effectively and see things quickly across some of those different areas of what do we have on hand, what do we need to order, what are our customer trends. Piecing all those pieces together can be difficult, but Phocas can help. Number 3 is increased pricing and margin pressure. So rising cost of materials, labor, and logistics are shrinking margins across our customers and making profitability a little bit harder to maintain. I think Phocas really does help distributors protect and grow their margins. One, it enables self-service financial reporting. We can compare performance across divisions, really giving you insight into how you can optimize those costs and simplify pricing adjustments and things like rebate management, and really just getting you faster visibility into some of those areas so that you can adjust and accordingly. 4 is labor shortages. So I guess recruiting and retaining skilled talent has been a challenge and increasingly challenging for distribution companies, especially as competition for qualified workers intensifies across the industry. And this really impacts productivity and makes it harder to consistently meet those operational KPIs. And Phocas can really help distributors overcome some of those labor shortages by streamlining workforce planning, things like connecting headcount forecasts to financial goals, and simplifying updates to staffing and budget models can really make an impact in this area as well. And number 5 is adapting to customer preferences. Just distribution companies have to stay informed and agile to keep on pace with product trends and rapidly evolving customer preferences. So Phocas really does help adapt to that change of those customer preferences. Helps you see where you need to evolve maybe your product lines by centralizing that sales data, that CRM data, and also that financial data to reveal trends, guide product decisions, and ensure profitable growth as well. And with all that, I'm going to move on to the demonstration, hopefully highlighting a couple of the different areas that we talked about today and how we can tie these pieces together within Phocas to make it easy to get visibility into some of these key areas. So let me go ahead and hit escape here and dive into the demo portion. So for those who aren't yet familiar with Phocas, what we're doing is we're taking all the transaction level detail in your ERP and giving you an end user environment where you can drill from a high level on a dashboard all the way down into a database to point and click and drill down into those different reports, and then beneath that is all of that transaction level detail that we can also see as well. So a couple different layers. I thought I'd start off today by talking about how we can get visibility into some of these different areas of the business in one view, even from a top level, which would be our dashboarding piece. So I have pulled up here an executive dashboard, and the great thing is we can take data from different databases within Focus, like sales, inventory, purchasing. We have rebate information on this dashboard. We have financial data on this dashboard, and put it into one location for a specific audience, and really tailor what you want to feed to those individuals. And this one that I'm highlighting today is an executive dashboard. So a few different areas of the business that I want to see at a high level before I dive deeper. And I want to see how our customers are performing, how our suppliers are performing. I want to have insights into our receivable rebates, and, what does that look like? Where is it coming from? I very much want to stay on top of my sales and where I'm trending. How many new customers do we have? How many customers have we lost and haven't purchased from us in a specific period of time? How many customers do I have that are purchasing less and less over a period of a rolling 3 months? So who might we want to go ahead and talk to and re-engage? And then quantifying the value of that lost business as well. So if we were to win back 50% of those customers, what would that look like for us? And how can we go ahead and form a strategy to do that? Well, we can go ahead and dive in and see who these customers are, what they were buying, and see why they aren't buying from us anymore, and by product category, by product. So lots of different ways that we can dive into that and solve for the problem. Stock analysis, I want to see on this dashboard. I want to see what I have on hand, what is taking up my cash and sitting on my shelves in the warehouse that is dead product, and what can I do? What's my strategy to get rid of that? If I discount it this percent, how is that going to affect my margin? We can even bring in things like debtor analysis. Delaney made a great point of like seeing when those specific people are expected to pay, and giving you insight into their trends there. So here's like an aging report, or we can visualize it into a pie, or seeing some of those different areas, and what we can expect. We can also see things like daily revenue. I want to see and dive into how we're performing this current month, and where I can impact things right now versus looking back at last month. I want to see who's performing, who's underperforming, and how I can help them bring those numbers up so we can hit budget. Trends this year versus last. Is there a seasonality that we're following? Are we making steady growth? If we're not, how can we fix that? And even financial performance. So we can even bring our income statement onto this dashboard that we can interact with. Hey, we budgeted $55,000 or $555,000, but we're at $1 million for our freight costs. Let's drill into that. So hopefully highlighting that we can monitor a lot of different areas of the business without a whole lot of effort, but we can also drill in and dive deeper into some of these different areas. But we can also, from a high level, build out a sales manager dashboard. Again, we want to see high level metrics of how we're performing, who's hitting their numbers, how are we doing to budget, how we can guide our reps to not only save customers that might be churning, but also grow our customers. It's easier to grow a customer than it is to gain a new one. So how can we get them buying from us in these different product categories that they've never bought in before? Maybe they're going to our competitor for this specific item. How can we have that conversation and identify those customers? Maybe we want to highlight the dead stock items that we want to run a discount program on for the reps to go ahead and tackle. Comparing specific customers, like, let's say, who's my top customer? ASAP Metallizing. Focus on them. How are they compared to our average? Looks like they have a higher than average margin, value per invoice. But what if they were only purchasing 5 out of 6 product classes? So always trying to find an area where you can improve from the sales side. And same thing with the supplier and purchasing side. So maybe I want to focus on a specific warehouse or a specific supplier in that warehouse and build out that breadcrumb trail of clicks on my dashboard to go ahead and see what's turning, what we need to order, what's my dead stock value, and what's in transit. And also use some logic within the reports down here to go ahead and calculate, what do we have on hand? What have we sold in the last 12 months? And what's that average quantity sold per month, which is the calculated column, and projecting how many months in stock that we have and seeing that value too. So being able to use the data in a way that's meaningful, apply your own logic to what good looks like for you, and be able to monitor that easily on a dashboard. And also being able to, again, drill into any one of these different areas. So I'm going to go into, let's say, this year-to-date sales report. And I'm looking at a summary number on that dashboard, but it's breaking out all of my customers, what they bought from us for that year-to-date. So I can go ahead and see that. But what's great is if I want to focus on, who's my top customer? ASAP Metallizing. I want to focus on them and I want to see what product classes they're buying from. So it looks like they're buying from all my product classes, but not very significantly in this one. So let's focus on that. What products are they buying in this category? Okay, great. But also, what aren't they buying? So we're able to toggle on between activity and no activity and see when and where we can even improve, let's say, one of our largest customers. And that's just a random example, trying to highlight the flexibility of the different ways that we can use this sales database, which we're analyzing all the data from our invoices, but making it really easy to point and click and run those reports. Things like, say, a variance report of, I want to see how my customers are doing this rolling 12 months compared to last. So I'm going to just go ahead and change the time period on this report, and I want to change it into variance mode so I can see a current snapshot of that rolling 12, a previous, and then it's going to automatically calculate the variance in between. So who are my top growing and who are my top declining customers there? And then you can always hit reset as well for whatever report you're looking at. We can also do things like one of those challenges I see across distributors using some of the other platforms, or maybe you're using static reports to pull your data out of Infor. One common challenge I see is the difficulty of putting the pieces together between our inventory and our customer trends. And I think something valuable to highlight is the way that Phocas can bring in different streams of data to see against each other. So rather than taking one report in Excel and another report in Excel and formatting that together and spending the time to do that manually, I can actually see against two different areas of my business, like, say, stock on hand versus open orders, against each other within Phocas. So we have another mode called stream, where I can take one stream of data and compare it against one of my variance streams in the environment. So we could see sales versus, let's say, where we uploaded a budget from Excel into this tool. Sales versus budget. We could also see things like stock on hand versus sales orders. So being able to compare those two different areas of the business to help inform your decisions. And hit reset there. And I think another valuable point to add here is how we can go ahead and, I'm gonna hit reset here, go to my sales environment. How not only we could see from that executive level view, but we can also drill into the detail. So within Phocas, your numbers are never a mystery. Beneath any one of these different numbers here in this column, so we're just looking at a report of all of our customers, Our period is financial year to date, and we're looking at our local value as our measure. But we can bring in, margin, for example, or we can bring in quantity, or any of those different things that you want to go ahead and report off of. Maybe let's go ahead and hit total mode to clean that report up. Instead of breaking out that financial year to date, I can just see the totals. Or maybe I want to see it by product, or I want to focus on a specific customer, focus, and then see all the products that they're buying for the financial year to date. But to that point of these numbers are never a mystery within Phocas, I can go ahead and actually right click on any single number here and go down to the transaction level, where I can see the actual invoices beneath that number. So seeing what's making up all of those different invoices for that product for that customer, for example. And I'm going to pivot over into the world of finance as well. So not only are we giving you sales and inventory and stock, AR and AP for the analytics portion of the tool, but also on the subject of what we've been talking about today, being able to couple your financial reporting and your sales and operations reporting in the same tool can be very valuable. So I'm going to hop into my financial statements environment. And again, just a lay of the land and kind of what to expect with this tool is you get a few different statements out of the box, like profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow, and trial balance. You can see we have some different customized versions of these saved reports here. So a profit and loss for the board, a cash flow direct and indirect. So we're able to customize different templates, save them once, and have all those actuals refresh behind the report, which is really helpful coming from the way that most customers I've worked with is you're waiting to month end to deliver these reports and see the numbers. And this is giving you a tool where you can drill into the financial detail all throughout the month and see how things are progressing, even if you are delivering those reports at month end. But you have now a tool to analyze your financials all throughout the month. And just for a little bit of kind of context here, you can go ahead and change your time period very easily. I want to see my current month, or let's say my previous month. I want to build out some of my different columns of, I don't want to see my current, my previous, and my budget. I just want to see my current and my budget, and toggle in between some of these different formatting options to run your reports. So now I can just see my actuals, and I don't love this budget, but we can we can go ahead and adjust that. We can also see what groupings that we have underneath our different line items. So our sales is made out of our product sales and deferred income accounts. And we can also add in other layers of analysis into this environment with just a couple of clicks. So if I wanted to see it broken out by department, now I can see, let's do office expenses. Now, if I drop down office expensive, all of those accounts are broken out by all of my different departments as well. So we can add in different reporting layers, or focusing on specific locations or branches or divisions, or whatever your data looks like, we can go ahead and format to that. But let's say I just want to look at this specific branch location. Focus, go back up to my statement, and I just had a consolidated version of my P&L, and I just ran with one click a branch P&L for my branch there. We can always hit reset as well. But I did want to highlight quickly a KPI report that I think this would be the next level that a lot of customers are looking for when it comes to flexibility in building something they might not be doing today, but gives you the ability to do so within Phocas. So this KPI report is very valuable because it goes over a couple different ratios that might be really impactful for you to monitor, like profitability. We can do our ROA and ROE, liquidity, efficiency, things like inventory and asset turnover. Looking at things like revenue per customer, profit per customer, headcount analysis. If I have any current Focus customers on the call today that have an interest in how to go ahead and set this up, please let me know and shoot me an email. But being able to customize a statement and see very easily how we're calculating some of these different KPIs as well. And that's all done in customized statements mode. So giving you the flexibility to, I can build a new statement, I can work off of one that I've already built. I'm just going to hit profit and loss here, giving you the flexibility to drag and drop all those different lines, add groupings, calculations, headings or spacers to go ahead and change the format of how that report looks, and all those things that you'd want built into a financial tool, like reverse hidden is better, or I'm sorry, hidden lower is better, but also being able to take those accounts and map them into the right categories. So sales, deferred income, and miscellaneous sales all belong in that top line that I had built into my statement for sales. So being able to really easily build custom statements, map your accounts, and invest that time on the front end to where you can automate it from every month going forward as well. So that's a little bit of a taste of Focus dashboards, a little bit of a taste of the Focus analytics tool and financial statements, and how you can kind of see across different areas of the business to give you the visibility that you need, but also the flexibility that you need to follow your train of thought through the data. The last piece I will mention is, and I'm going to dive back into my sales environment, is what we're doing to better spoon feed our customers with data that they can not necessarily be looking for, and what our AI is today and what our AI journey is going to be. So today you might see this Focus AI button in your environment where you can ask a question of your data, and this AI feature will give you an answer. It's text AI today, where if I wanted to ask, show me my top declining customers in the last 3 months. So we can actually today ask questions of our data, and it's going to take the logic, and it's learning every day as customers are using this feature, and showing you how you can actually run that report. So here's how I selected my stream as sales. I kept my mode in period, and actually kind of train you how you can build this report yourself, and how it got those results, but also be able to spit out a report very quickly. Or let's say top 10, let's change it. Let's say, like, I want to just see my top 10 declining customers. So it went ahead and filtered that list down. I could have just selected it too, but it goes to show that this can be really helpful if you're looking for a quick answer, but also for as you're learning how to navigate in the environment yourself, it'll teach you how it got those results as well. We also have been growing and developing our different products here in Focus. And something our customers were always asking for is, I'd love to see how I can, not only I know I can use the tool today to find opportunities, but how can I help self and surface these opportunities as well? We actually have a new tool called Insights, and I'll show you the sales portion of this tool today, but we're also expanding it into product insights and things like that as well. But what we are doing with this is using AI to see a spread of your customers, what those trends are, and then bucketing them into what good, better, best looks like for your customers, and where we should be spending our time and attention. So I'll walk you through the setup, because I think that would help you understand what we're looking at here. And because Phocas is taking in all of your data, what we can do is pick our stream of, let's say, sales. We're going to choose our customers. We're looking at value as our measure, and we're choosing our currency. So we're capturing all that customer data, and I want to segment them into groups of what does an at-risk customer look like? What does a champion customer look like? And how can I account plan a little bit better and maybe save a churning customer or grow a champion customer? So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. This allows you to choose that segmentation of I want a simplified view, or I want to see who I can't lose, who's at risk, who are our champions, etc. Hit next. And this is where the tool is actually looking at the trends in your data to show what frequency, monetary value, and recency for those transactions, what is considered great and what is considered at risk. So a very infrequent customer, for example, in this data set is someone that only makes 12 transactions a year. So it's looking at a 12-month period. Infrequent would be between 37, moderate, and then very frequent is anyone making 250 transactions with us per year. And you can always manually adjust those, but it's actually taking the trend in your data and populating this for you. So we also have monetary value. What is considered a low value transaction? What is considered a high value transaction? And what customers would fall into what buckets there? And then we also have recency. So 151 days ago was their last transaction. That's a customer that we haven't spoken to recently that we want to flag. And someone that someone that just made a transaction with us 3 days ago, that's going to be considered a very recent engagement with that customer. So it's taking those 3 different areas and it's segmenting our customers on an XY axis. So a combination of how frequently they purchase and how much they purchase is showing us the value of the customer. So lower value customers are going to be infrequent, low value transactions. High value customers are going to be very frequent, very high value transactions. And then on this X axis, we have recency. So someone that's less recent might be a hibernating customer. Someone that's more recent is purchasing with us in the last 3 days. But on the lower scale of this recency, these 9 customers might be new. So they're not a high value, high frequency customer, but they bought from us recently. Let's go ahead and see who those people are. But if I were sitting in the customer's shoes, I'd want to spend most of my time analyzing the customers here at the top. So not only do we have our very recent, very frequent, very high value customers falling into this champion bucket that I want to go ahead and make sure that we're growing this number. What does that sales value look like and potential revenue we can capture from these customers and monitoring how that's trending? But I also think that I should be spending my time, very, very much time on this can't lose bucket. So people that typically buy really frequently and high value, but haven't purchased from us recently. And why is that? So it looks like this is on a good trend. So, we did have 58 in this can't lose bucket. Now we're down to 14. So that's positive. But here are those customers that are really high value that we need to talk to and see what's going on, because what if they're talking to our competitor? The great thing is that this tool is going to help surface these customers for you. It's also going to tell you what each of these categories mean and how many customers and what that sales value is for each of those buckets. But we're also linking it to a Phocas customer scorecard. So this customer seal fasteners is within my at-risk category. But I can link it to my scorecard that's focused on this specific customer and see what's going on. So here's my salesperson. Maybe his CRM activity is low. Maybe he needs to go reach out to them. Maybe they're declining in a specific product class, or they move to a competitor to buy a specific product, and that's why they're being flagged for us. Maybe their revenue is down. their margin is down, giving you all these different areas to highlight, to dig into more account planning. But again, our goal is to continue to improve and develop ways to surface insights, using the data that we already have and make your jobs easier. So this is an exciting new product. I'm very passionate about it and have rolled it out to quite a few customers. Let me know if you're interested in learning more about this one. Um, but just looking at the time, I think I go ahead and wrap up with our last slides here. Excuse me, let me find that. Okay, perfect. So I just wanted to pause and do any Q&A and see if any questions came through on our end. Shane or Delaney, if you want to go ahead and monitor that.
See, I'm looking here. I don't see anything yet in the Q&A.
Okay.
Oh, um, we have one in terms of can you describe a little bit more about what the implementation process normally looks like and what's involved there? It's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. So the implementation process has a few different phases. One, connecting into your data, and installing the Focus solution and setting up that connection takes about 2 weeks to go ahead and get that data flowing into the environment. But the bulk of the Focus implementation is the validation portion. A tool is only as good and as the accuracy of the data. So we really go through it with a fine tooth comb to make sure your numbers from your ERP and your numbers within Focus are tying off. And that process, you work hand in hand with central data and Focus here to support. And, I'd say, aggressively 10 weeks. But the great news is that you get your data very, very quickly, can start training in the environment, and then we're fine tuning from there. So did that answer the question? Was it implementation process? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
I believe so. And to add to that, I'm actually going to put a screenshot here in the chat to speak on more of that implementation. Central Data provides a CD report pack that is over 40 pre-configured reports set up in your Focus environment that help you, with a jumping off point in terms of that sort of information you're looking for, just a nice foundation amount of where and what you can do in Focus. We have another question in the chat here. I know we can clone a database to put criteria in there for a report. So how many cloned databases can you have?
Oh gosh, I don't actually think there is a specific limit for that. I've
I
worked
don't
with
think I've run into
customers.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with customers that they've really adopted Focus and gotten very dangerous with it and have, 20, 30 different databases that they use for a variety of different things. So that's a good question, but I don't think there's a limit, but obviously you want a nice clean environment. So dealer's choice on that one.
I agree. I don't believe I've run into a limit myself. It can
Yeah.
definitely get a little convoluted, a little crazy. So it, you know, just as a word of caution, if there's a handful or several databases, cloned or not, in that list that either you've made or other users have made, just testing around and stuff, maybe a couple times a year or every so often, go through and clean those up, or that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'd want to know
Yeah.
the why behind the cloning, and maybe it's an answer of user permissions on the admin side of you don't want them to see the specific environment, or you want to lock down a specific environment. So yeah, shoot me an email if you have more questions on that, whoever asked that question.
hmm
Yeah, I think that Alexa is a good point, right? The follow-up from here, right? I've sat on a few of these, and Alexa can demo for hours on end. But really, if anyone does want to learn more, if anyone wants to drill in a little bit further, even for the customers that have joined us today that are currently running Focus, if you want to dive a little bit deeper, know that Delaney and our team at Central Data are even working directly with Focus those opportunities are available to you. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to join us on our webinar series. I learned something every time Alexa's able to discuss and demo the platform. It's really cool to see all the new stuff today that you shared. And obviously Delaney's end user experience goes a long way. I know there's a slide up on the screen now, Alexa, you want to address?
Yeah, sure. Just if we're closing out, oops, didn't mean to do that. If we're closing out, I did want to cover, one of our fantastic central data and Infor clients from Replenix has really taken to the tools and gone so far in using Phocas and become a great champion. But I love this quote because it makes people feel good about their data, and that's our whole tagline. Is it helps Tony sleep better at night because he knows that he's confident with his numbers and can go do what he needs with a tool that's going to enable him to help run and manage his business. So I just love that quote. I also wanted to pull up this slide in case anyone wanted to get in touch. That QR code can help you get in touch with the team here. But of course, please reach out to your resources at Central Data as well.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Alexa. And again, anyone that's on the call, do know that this was recorded and will be sent out to Central Data TV. I want to shout out and thank the team at Phocas for joining us today. And thanks, Delaney. Really good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shane.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Alrighty.
All right.
Have a good rest
Thanks,
of your
everyone.
day.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye.